Welcome to the Microsoft Edu Day, Setting Up for Success. I'm Bec West. I'm a Deputy Principal Instructional Leader in the New South Wales Public System, and you might know me from my YouTube channel, Talk and Chalk. Today, I'm going to be taking you through the 2021 OneNote Teacher Planner/program that I have shared with everyone recently, and I'm going to show you how you can utilize this for digital planning as you go into 2021. Now, I can't take credit for everything that is in this planner. This has been something that's been put together from years of professional learning that I've done through my school, through my system, through Microsoft, and by building those relationships in the STEM T4L network as well in the New South Wales Department of Education. It also comes from collaboration from my colleagues who have participated in creating different templates, in sharing their ideas. So I'm just the person who essentially puts it all together in a way that I think is quite succinct and user-friendly for anyone who's new to doing digital planning. If you are brand new, I promise it gets easier the more that you use it. And hopefully by having this structure set up for you, it will encourage you to add to it as you go through. So what I'm going to do today is, as I go through this free planner for you, and you will have the link shared with you as well. I will drop the link somewhere here so that you can see it on the screen, but it will also be shared with you so you can just click on it, follow it, and it will download for you no matter what device that you're using and no matter what format of OneNote that you're using. I personally prefer the 2016 version of OneNote, and that's what this was created in, but you'll see that I can access it in Windows 10, I can access it online, I can access it in any of the apps that I've got downloaded as well. The OneNote apps that I've got downloaded, provided that I'm signed in using the same sign-in. And when you get into those different ones, they all have wonderful functions. I will try and switch between 2016 and Windows 10 versions so that you can see what they look like on the different screens. So that part might be a bit confusing for you if you're just sticking with one. So I'll try and make sure I'm saying what I'm doing as I go through. But if you are brand new to this, you've never used OneNote before, and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, please just send me a message and ask any questions. Let me know if you can't find something. I'll clarify where it is for you. You can hit me up on Talk and Chalk on Facebook, or if you're on Twitter, I'm at BecWest81 on Twitter, or any of the people that are presenting or sharing here over this whole event will answer any of those questions as well. If I don't know the answers, because I'm definitely not an expert, I'm not a guru, I will point you in the right direction of the person that could give you the correct answer. The wonderful Edu team at Microsoft did whatever they need to do behind the scenes to make this file compatible and be easily shared across like this. So thank you to the team, and thank you for inviting me along as well to share what's inside this and how people can try and add to it as they go through. And I'd love feedback. Now, I'm in the public education system, as in the primary system. I do work with a lot of secondary teachers, but unfortunately I don't have that day-to-day knowledge of the programming or the organization that would necessarily be useful for you guys. So obviously you can edit the things out of this that you want to and put those things in there that you need. If you're in early childhood, you'll be able to do the same as well. And I'd love any feedback on how this could be improved so it could be more of a P-12 model, or at least have some of those templates in there to support you in future years, because I always want this to be ongoing and developing and improving. So any feedback is much appreciated. So when we go into this, I'm going to take myself off the screen so that you can see it in its entirety, and write any notes, write any questions, and then once we're done, send them through to me. So let's switch over now so I can screen record and you can see what this planner looks like. All right, everybody, we're now in the 2021 teacher program, the OneNote version. The first thing you will see is this little image and a little disclaimer on there that just says that I've compiled this and that there are various other people that have worked together on this, and that it is not for sale and shouldn't be generated to get any sales or profits, and to let me know if you see that happening. This is the online version. So literally, if you go to Google and type OneNote online, it'll come up with a link where you can go and log in. And when you log in, you'll see the OneNote files that you have already. If you have downloaded this, you will see this there. If you haven't created any, then obviously you won't see any. They'll be on sort of this side here when you click on that little arrow. So I've got a fair few OneNote files in there you can see. I'm going to switch to the Windows 10 version, it looks really similar to the online version. You can see the menus on the left, which is the same, and the format looks very similar too. When you go to the 2016 version, the version I prefer, you'll see there are tabs across the top and then also down the side. These things are all the same, they're just kind of laid out a bit differently. And I think that's the reason I like the 2016 version so much, is because it reminds me of a physical folder. So if you look at the top here, these colored tabs, you can change the colors on these. So if I literally click right click section color and click blue, you can see that that's switched to blue just up the top here. I'm just going to literally click undo and make it back what it was. This here reminded me of, imagine that you've turned your ye-old printed out teacher program on its side, and this OneNote thing here is the front cover, and down the side of my folder here are my little tabs that have all my sections, like my KLAs or my school organization or variation of routine, that kind of a thing. I imagined that those were my little tabs down the side of my folder that I could flick through and find the section that I want. And then this little menu that's down the right hand side here where my cursor is hovering, this I imagined were all my plastic sleeves, and all the things inside were the things that were in my plastic sleeves. And that's really what helped me be able to navigate around OneNote a lot easier when I pictured it that way. So if I go back to the Windows 10 version, this is the same here. Here it's just the opposite way. It's almost like the left-handed version, where all these things down the side here, and I might actually go to the online version because I can zoom in over here. There we go, that's better. All these tabs down here that my cursor is running over were the little tabs on the side of my folder, and then inside them, so if I click on school documents, you'll see this menu here will change. These were all my plastic sleeves that sat behind that little tab. And in my earlier years, all of these tabs here would have title pages that I'd printed out, and I'd scoured the internet for the perfect picture, and that was what was in there. So now I literally have just this thing that I created in Pic Collage, and that's my little picture now that's on the front of my program. So if you can wrap your head around that, that might help you with all of these tabs that are here. So I think because I can zoom, I will stick with the online version for now. But just to show you the difference here, you can see where it says here, I'll just zoom in again, sorry, introduction, school documents, timetables, OneNote templates, variation of routine, etc., etc., etc. down the list. If I flip back to the Windows 10 version, see how it's the same, school documents, timetables, OneNote templates, variation of routine. I'm going to flip to the 2016 version. They're just across the top. That's the only difference. And I think that's why I like this version a little bit better, just because I can see everything a bit better. You might prefer the other version, totally up to you. So you can see introduction, school documents, timetables, OneNote templates, variation of routine. It's even in the same order. If I change this in my 2016 version, because this is all online and synced up, it will change in the other version. If you are not online, it won't sync up. So you need to be connected there. So sometimes when I log on for the day, I just come up here to the title, I go right click and I say sync this notebook now. Sometimes, you know, when your computers are just a little bit glitchy or just not in the mood, they may not be connected to the internet, and you know, we're Australia, we don't have the best internet. So I just like to sync it every now and then. Sometimes it will prompt you to do that. If you're working collaboratively on this document with someone else and you're sharing this with someone, you might need to click sync every now and then just to give it a little bit of a kick up the backside to remind it to sync up. It doesn't do it often. Most of the time it's just doing it on its own and it's syncing as needed. I rarely have issues with it. So let's go back to the online version. And what you can see here, the first thing you have is an introduction, and these things that are in our little plastic sleeves, as I'll call them down here, this is just all stuff from Microsoft and from OneNote. This is not created by me. These are the standard things that they've given you to help prompt you and support you with your learning about using OneNote. So if you're brand new, I highly encourage you to go in here, have a look at these things and see what they've linked for you. And there are some example things in there as well. As for what I've shared with you, let's go to school documents. So in school documents, you can see here, I've got a list down of school information, a staff list, roles and responsibilities. These things are all editable for you. So you can literally click on there and type the names that you need in there. So school information, you literally click in here, blah, 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 type the school name in, type the school code, etc. You literally just type into it. That is a text box that's there. This is a table. So if you go insert and table, you can create these things for yourself, color code them, make them pretty, all that sort of a thing. Staff list, again, this is just a table, and all I did to create this color across the top was I highlighted across the top. I've just done there with a left click and a cursor drag like you normally would, and then you can change the color in the background there. Now I'm just going to flip back to the 2016 version and show you. I'm going to go to school documents, and that staff list. See, it looks exactly the same in here. Left click and highlight just like I did in the other one, and if I click on layout and shading, that's where I can find all the colors there. So I can change that to red or orange, whatever that is. And your favorite undo button there, best button ever invented. If you don't like it, click it back. That's great. And you can see here this little gray line that pops up when I'm hovering over it. I can use that to drag. Perhaps you have a little picture at the top here, like your school logo or something you want to put there, and you want to move this down, just click it, drag it. See, it hasn't affected any of my columns there, and you can adjust these columns. So I can just grab this one here and drag it over if I want to. Make it bigger, make it smaller. Perhaps you might need more information in these columns. If you want to add a column, same thing that you would in most other Microsoft systems here. You just click it, drag down, and I'm going to go to the top here. See, I'm still in layout, and it's giving me the option to insert a column above, below, left, or right. I want to go right. I'm going to insert one right. Now it's taken it back to its original format just because it's adding one. So this little gray box that I've got there around, I'm just going to drag that out, and I'm just going to drag my columns back out. Sometimes it does get a bit fiddly. It'll like to revert to its original status just because it thinks that's what you're doing. Like I said, I'm not a guru. I don't know the ins and outs of why it does that, but I do know it's easy to just drag them open like that. It just took me 10 seconds, not even, to do that. If I don't like it, again, favorite button in the world, undo. I'm literally going to undo it, take it back to what it looked like. So you can see when you have a table in there, absolutely easy to edit, not a problem whatsoever. And if I continue down, I'm just going to go back to the online version here. If I continue down my plastic sleeves here, more tables here that you can edit in here. I've given you different various roles and responsibilities that could be in a school. Perhaps you don't do recycling, so you can come here and literally delete that out if you want to. Put another detail in there, that's no issue. Or perhaps you just want to delete that section altogether. You can literally cut it. Like anything else that we do in there, not an issue. Okay, I'm going to go to undo on here as well, which is under home, and there's a little arrow back there, and I'm just going to put that back. I need to remember what I'm changing as I do this. Okay, so going down, more things, school expectations, a school map, for example. Now you might want to insert something that's already been generated at your school. Perhaps you have a PDF, perhaps you have a Word document. So I'll show you how you can insert that now. So I'm just going to click my cursor down here so it has a space, and I'm going to go up to the top here where it says insert. So think of any function that you have in Word, for example. Those things will do similar things here: home, insert, view, all those sorts of things. So if I go to insert and I'm going to go to file, there's a little arrow here next to it giving me some options, and I've got insert file attachment and insert file printout. I'll show you both versions here. So if I do insert file attachment, I'm just going to zoom out so I can select the file. I'm going to choose my file, and I have a random university one that I just downloaded from the internet. It's a PDF. I'm going to click insert. Now what it's inserting at the moment is just the file. It's the icon. It's the thing that you would see if you go into, you know, opening up your normal files that you've got things saved in. That's what's inserted there, which means if I want to see it, I need to double click on it and open it. Oh, download, sorry, it's just prompting me to download. And there's the download at the bottom there. So I'm going to open that up. and there is the map. Now, if I want to, I can save this in a different way. If you're sharing this document with someone, they can open it and save it on their own computer as the individual file itself. However, it's so much easier if you just want to see things quick and easy. I'm going to delete that and I'm going to do this process again. So I'm just coming back to the 2016 version now to show you what it would look like if you did a file printout. That's my door creaking. So if you click on file printout, I'm just going to go to one of the other maps that I downloaded, PDF again. I've prompted it. It's now just thinking about it as it inserts it in. So now you can see, not only do I have the actual file icon there as I did with the file attachment in the online version, but now I can actually see the map as well. There is another way that you can do this. I'm just going to delete this. Let's say you're not too sure about using that, or you've got the actual PDF opened, you've opened it up somewhere, which I do have on the desktop, so I'll just quickly open it. So let's say you've downloaded this, you've got the PDF opened. I can click print, and once you've set this up, I can change my printer to send to OneNote 2016. So I can't zoom on that for you to see, but in my printer settings, I've got send to OneNote 2016. I'll click on that. I'm just going to change it to landscape so it looks better, and I'm going to click print. And then what will happen is my little 2016 icon will flash at the bottom of the screen, and this will come up, and I can click the current page that I'm working on here, which is School Map 2021, and click OK. I know that one seems a bit fiddly, but once you're used to just clicking print to and you click on your current page, you get used to it. If it's too much though, just stick with insert, file printout, and go from there. Now, this is really good if you are unsure about using tables and things in OneNote. So if I go through all these different things here at the top, there's different sections like policies and procedures where I've added all of these different things. For example, the code of conduct. It's quite big, so I've just said click file to open. So you can see the file is there. If I double click on that, which I will now, it will open up the code of conduct. So you can see that there now on the screen. There's the whole thing, because I didn't want 47 pages on there for you to scroll through the whole time. It's not something you necessarily need quick and easy access to. It's a document that we're going to be using for professional learning. You're likely like me, and you may want to take that away and read at a different time. So if I look through some of the other ones, we've got the excursions policy. I have put the printout in there of that one for you. Keep in mind, this is New South Wales public education stuff. When it comes to Aboriginal education stuff, that's a big lengthy document. So again, I've just put the icon for you. So when you go through this program, you will find different things that have been inserted, the whole document, or perhaps it's just the icon. So if you see the icon, click it open. You can save it to your computer if you want to. So if I double click on this and open it up, you'll get the PDF. I can click print, I can click save depending on what version you use, and you'll be good to go. I'm just going to close all of those tabs. Okay, let's look through these tabs a bit more. I'm going to go back to the online version so that I can zoom in. Timetables. In here, I've given you a bunch of templates that you can use. So if you're an executive, all of this stuff can be easily copied, pasted, edited, reused how you like. And then I've split here, again, some tabs down the side, some sub tabs. These are your plastic sleeves. With some examples of things that you could chuck in each term. So if you've got extreme weather organization, assembly organization, you just insert it there. So if you've already got that stuff in a Word document, just print it to here, just insert it here. You don't need to redo everything. If this is your first time doing it, just chuck it into this spot here. And you've got different terms there to do that. Continue down my list over here. I've got OneNote templates. This is where you'll find lots of KLA templates and other things that will help you, not just if you're an executive, but if you're a teacher and you want to keep track of what you're doing. So here's a program checklist. Now these checklist boxes here, you can literally go through and tick them off. You can insert these, and there's lots of different ways that you can do this. So I'm just going to flip back to 2016. So we're both seeing the different versions here. I'll go back to OneNote templates. So this is where we were for the program checklist here. And again, you can just insert these things. You've got lots of different things in here. So if you go to home, you'll see the different headers and stuff that you've got. Go to the next section over here, all these little things, just click on them, see what's there. Lots of different things. So The little box that's inserted there is to do. It says to do. There you can put a little star there that says important. You've got question marks. You can highlight things, different projects, lots of different things in here that you can use. Now, there's also lots of Microsoft templates as well. So if you don't like the ones that I've put in here, see what Microsoft has got available for you as well. So just going down this little program checklist again, I've just used the boxes here. This is just a table, and all I did was I took the time to color code the table. This looks much fancier than what it is. And now I've got a helicopter going overhead. It's a noisy day at my house. So yeah, I literally took the time to just highlight this, and I made it the dark yellow. I highlighted all of this, I made it light yellow. Did the same for all these other KLAs, and yes, I tried to match them to the Nessa colors. And then I just used color for the bold heading there. For me personally, the colors just separate things. That's just how I like to organize things. Makes it easier for me to find what's going on. There's an example assessment schedule in there. Now this has been inserted as a Word document for you so that you can see what's in there. Now, when it comes to inserting Word documents and editing them, this is where I find people get really confused. You can edit. So let's just have a look here. Across the top, you can see I've got Kindy, Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3. And then I've got these blank boxes here. So let's pretend that we want to do something, you know, week 1, just to annoy everyone and drive the kids crazy. Let's double click it and open it up. Opening attachments could harm your computer. That's fine. I know this document. I created it. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open it up in Word. Here is the document. Now, when you open this up, when you open up OneNote and you see that there, and then you open up this file, you can save this as your own file to your computer. It's now your file. You're not editing my original file. That's fine. It's not going to change mine. So let's go now into Stage 1, and I'm just going to write awesome test. We're changing it. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to close the file. And you'll see now I've got this prompt here that's come up that says the printout may be out of date. Right click here to refresh. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to refresh printout. Give it a second. Click OK. Just give it a second to do its magic, because that's what I think of it of. I think of it as magic. And you'll see it's just inserting the printout now. Oh, there we go. I've got to scroll back up to the top. Sorry. And look at that. Bam. Awesome test is now being completed by Stage 1. And I'm going to click undo. Okay, so don't worry if you're trying to start and you're going from Word to OneNote and you're worried about inserting things and not being able to edit. You can. The only difference being is that you won't be able to edit this with good functionality in a group of people. If 4 of you try and open up that Word document all at the same time, you're all opening up your own versions of that document, you can't all edit, which is why I would encourage you to really go for the tables. Really try and use these tables. So I'll go to, for example, one of the maths programs. Here's an example maths program. You know, you could these are all just tables. That's all it is. Color coded. Took the time to color code. That's all it is. Put the ticker boxes in. That's all it is. I could be on here typing while my colleague is on here typing. We can do it at the same time, and you will see it in real time, and you'll see who's editing what. You'll get little highlights on there, and you'll get down the side here little initials of who's editing where. And you'll be able to see the history of editing too, so that if there was a mistake, you can go back and fix it. That's why I highly recommend going for this. If you really want to jump into the deep end, try the tables, or at least try these templates and utilize those. And then anything else that you're unsure about, stick with what you know, stick with Word, stick with PDFs, and just insert them in. All right. Being mindful of the time, I want to take you through more. So let's just go back to our online version so that you can see everything clearly. So in these templates, I've got the program checklist, the assessment schedule you saw. There's an example teacher timetable that you might want to edit, a weekly planner, an example weekly planner. So there's a blank one there. And if you like these and you want to create one for, you know, term 1, all the 10 weeks that are there, you can literally just right click and copy it. Or if you come over back to the tab, you can copy that, go to wherever you're putting your program, and insert it there. So down the bottom here, you'll see I've got a section that says program. This opens up into a much larger section. I'm going to jump ahead and show you that just so you can see how you can copy and paste an entire page. So let's say I do want this weekly planner page. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come down here to the section that's program. And you'll see now all of these other sections drop open underneath it. These are more tabs, more sections. I'm going to go to term 1. And you can see all of these things have opened up here. These are just my subjects here. So I might want to put it in here, or even better, I might want to put it in timetables. So let's go to timetables. Let's go to term 1, and I might want to have a whole bunch of weeks in here. So it depends on you how you want to list it, but let's just say I want to paste it. I'm going to right click, paste. Weekly planner just dropped in there. That's hasn't removed it from the original spot if you want to keep that as an example. But this is now here. So if I want to, I can just put week 1. I can come down here and get rid of the example that has an example of what a completed one looks like. I can delete just this part here. I clicked on the gray bar at the top there, and now I'm hitting delete. This says week 1. I'm going to copy this and paste it. Okay. There we go. That's pasted there, and I can change this to week 2. And I can continue to do that all the way through. Okay, I'm just going to undo what I did. And I'm going to close out the program section just so I can go back to where we were, which was in templates. In here, I also had a support timetable, variations to routine, when it wants to load. So this is where you can just put those changes that have happened. And then one of the best things I love about using OneNote, depending on what system you're using, is the capability to sign and to handwrite on things. So I'm just grabbing out my pen, which is right next to me. You can see over here the registration section. I can just grab my pen. Whoops. Oh, okay, it doesn't want to do it on there. I'm just going to switch to 2016. Variation of routine. If I zoom in on that, I can literally sign on there if I want to. Okay. Now, just going back to online. Team meeting minutes. This is one of the OneNote templates that I changed what was in here. So this little blue banner background came up. These sections here, agenda, next meeting. The only thing I changed was putting a table in here for agenda items instead of dot points. That's it. An IEP template. And then there's other KLA templates in here as well. So I've got one for writing, one for guided reading. It's just taking a second to load. Now all these things are editable. So for example, I've put in here literacy progressions. This is just an example of where they could be and how you could create a ticker box. If you literally go to the progressions, you can copy and paste, and you can change the bullet points to the ticker box sections here. Again, just go to that tick box function and click on it where you need it, same as you would with a Word or anything like that, where you've highlighted it and you're putting something else in its place. Going to the variation of routine tab, this would be a great example for any executive that's overseeing something. This is where you could put whole school things in here and put all that information that everyone could use if you're using a collaborative document. PDP documents, this is all from New South Wales obviously, but this is the framework, the templates, that's literally the Word template we're meant to use. Different goal setting, this is all the information that's provided. I've just put in the PDFs in here. So if you're an exec and you're creating something for your whole school, I'd recommend that anything you know all your teachers need consistently, dropping it into that OneNote that you're sharing. And just continuing through policies and procedures. There's some stuff in there for remote learning. This was just like an e-day book template if you needed to, and then different various things that we hopefully will never need to use ever again, phone call log, etc. Information about the learning progressions is on there. This is not version 3 because that technically isn't in progress yet for the rest of us, but this current version is in there for you ready to go. And then I've got 2 different sections there on accreditation. So this will look a bit different depending on what kind of device that you use. So if you go to accreditation, and this will be helpful for those of you, especially if you're going for proficient accreditation, if you're going for highly accomplished or lead, these sections might help you. So the standards are that first document there, and I have inserted them in case you want to go through and take screenshots or anything like that. And then I've given you the standards here in different tabs. So standard 1, this is what it is. And then what you might want to do is just list when you get an artifact for those particular things. So let's say you go to 1.1 and you found an artifact that you'd like to take a photo of, or a scan, or a clipping, or an article, or something like that you know needs to go in there. You can take a photo with your device and put that on there. So if you're using a tablet, if you're using a phone, or if you're using a laptop that has the camera enabled, take the photo and literally insert it straight in here. So you can do that by going insert picture, from file, from camera, from online, same as you would with anything else. At 1.2, you might like one there, stick it in. And then what you can do is come back to that main table that you've had there, and let's say your artifact is a, I don't know, work sample B drawing or something. You type it in there, type in here what it is, and this will just help you keep on top of it, so that when it comes time to putting together your report, you've got a variety of artifacts already sitting there. You know what they are, you know the date that they were collected, and you can annotate and use it if you want to. Some of those things you may not want to use, but at least this means that you're not scrambling to find things when it comes time to putting it together. You can take your time as you go through, collect a bunch of things that you think might be relevant. Perhaps your supervisor has taken photos of things that they think are relevant, like you teaching, and they can see that particular standard in action, and you can use that as evidence as well. Just chuck it in there, ask your supervisor to send you a text with that picture or an email with that picture, insert it straight in. If you're working on a collaborative document, they can put it in there for you. And let's get to the program. So in your program here, we've got a term planner, PDP, timetable, scope and sequences, pathways, assessment, learning plans. Let's have a very quick look, because the same thing that I've been showing you in those other things, you can do in here as well. Inserting documents, editing tables. This is an editable calendar thanks to Calopedia, but what I've done is I've created a table that you can just type stuff into yourself and edit. So this is term 1, week 1. We know our staff development days are Wednesday and Thursday. If you've got, you know, students, if I can type, return. If you want to put that in there, you put that in there. Change the font. You can highlight it same way we would with anything else. Go to home, change it to 12. Change the font if you want. Make it bold if you want. Take it off if you want. These things are the same as what you would have if you were using, you know, Microsoft Word. You can do that easily in there. If you want to go through and put the individual date on all those boxes, feel free to do it. I just put the date at the beginning of the week there, and then when the holidays are. And I've put nice shameful promotion there of a conference that I'm working on. But again, it's there for term 2, term 3, and term 4. This is much better than sticking like a PDF calendar in there and then trying to type over the top of it. This is the table, and yes, again, all I did was I highlighted, I made that light purple. I highlighted this, I made it dark purple. Going to PDP, this is where you put your own PDP stuff. So the information that was earlier was the statewide information. This is you for your own thing. So if you're not in New South Wales and this is where your professional learning goals and stuff go, you know, put whatever you need to in here. Insert a document, make your own table, completely up to you. Timetables, this is your own timetable. Just insert it in there. Use the template if you like, or if you've got it in a Word document with lots of pretty fonts and colors and pictures or whatever, chuck it in there. Just insert it in there. So you can go insert and just print the, I'll click on there, file, or if you've got a picture of it, put it in that way. Scope and sequences, obviously that's based on your school and what they have. Pathways in New South Wales Department of Education, this is all the information that you need around writing those personalised learning pathways for your Aboriginal students. There's lots of information in there. We've also given you a PLP template. So things from the student, from the parent caregiver, things from the teacher, and then what goals you might be looking at. And again, this is all editable. All these are tables. Just type in and start editing. And then once you've done that, you know, make some sections for your different students. So if I right click on this and go copy, and then I go paste, I can go here and I can change that to student B and see how it changes the tab there, student B. I can go to assessment. This is where you should be putting different things from assessment on there. So you might be putting different different test levels or photos of what the kids are doing. Learning plans, so students on individual education plans, behaviour plans, anyone on targeted intervention, adjustment checklists. We're going to have students that are going out for COVID intervention this year as well. So this is where you could put all of that information. I've given you an example of a tiered intervention chart. So students that are above, getting school-wide focus, targeted focus or intensive focus, you can open that up, Word document, and edit that. I've given you another version that's in the table in OneNote, so just choose your own adventure, which one you would like, and utilize it that way. And then I've given you an example of what that could look like. So lots of stuff in here. And then you get into your sections with Term 1, English, Maths, HSIE, and you can change these things however you want. So for English here, I've got week 1, guided reading, writing, handwriting, speaking. You might prefer to have a whole section on guided reading and then put week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. This is all editable. Once you click on it, go here. I just typed hello. So that's just an example of how you can edit those sections. You're not stuck there on how to do any of those things. Absolutely go for gold and make those changes. Last section I've got there is on work samples. This is where I would encourage you to go into these tabs and just drop work samples. So if you go to the photocopier and scan all the worksheets that the kids have done, turn it into a PDF and email it in here, that will work. The other option that you've got is take some photos, put them in there, and then that way you don't have to take the kids' samples. You can take photos of their workbooks and do it that way. So I'm going to switch back to the 2016 version now, just to give you a look at what that looks like in this other version. So because we've got limited space across the top here, you'll see those tabs that were all the same, the variation of routine, all the PDP information, policies and procedures, remote learning, learning progressions. I suddenly get this little arrow over the right hand side here. This is my drop down where I can see all the other tabs that I've got. So I've got accreditation here, and this was all the stuff that I just showed you, standard 1, standard 2 with your box, and then down the side here all these sections where you could insert things. And the little arrow here will just take me back to where I was. I'm just going to hit that arrow again so I can go to program, which was the section I just showed you, with the term planner and the calendar all in here. And I just need to go to the right hand side here with these tabs here, and I can see those calendars that I just showed you here that I can edit and type into if I want to. Going across the top, the PDP section, the timetable, scope and sequences, these were all the things that I just showed you. So you can see them here, and they just have tabs in a different spot. So again, my mind still goes back to, this is my folder, these are my tabs, these are my plastic sleeves. So up to you whether that helps you or not. But hopefully the fact that there are things in tables will help you. Please just play with these things here. Really, that's the only way I learnt it. So I mean, like I'm clicking on the draw with touch, and that's my finger there just doing that. Click undo. You know, go to insert and see what's there. If I go to insert and I go to page templates, this is where I found a lot of things in there. So, you know, informal meeting notes, it'll come up with that. There you go, there's an option for me. I'm just going to click undo to take that out. I'm going to go to page templates again, and I'm going to say formal meeting notes. That's, you know, another one that's there. So just have a look at what's around. You've got all these buttons across the top, you know, spreadsheet, tables, screen clippings. Screen clippings is great. If I've been to Google, or if I don't know, found something online that I really like, but I only want that one section, don't worry about copying and pasting and saving and all that sort of stuff. Just go to screen clipping. I'm just going to come back here and literally highlight student A. It's now made it a picture here. And the best part that I like is it gives me like a timestamp of when the screen clipping was taken. So if I've taken a screen clipping from student work that I've looked at, you know, that's on online or an email or something like that, I can do that. And it's a good way to document it and record it for me. You know, pictures and pictures online, obviously same thing as what we would use in Word as well. These things are awesome. There are also so many functions where you can record audio, where you can link in YouTube links and things like that, but that's a lot more detail that I won't get into today because obviously we are quite tight on time. But please just click and play and try something new in here as much as you possibly can. and hopefully this will be helpful for you in shifting to digital learning, digital programming, sorry, or at least maybe trying something new in OneNote that you haven't tried before. I'm sorry if that was a huge mouthful or if it was too fast, so please make sure if you've got a question you jot it down and get in touch with me. Once you've accessed the link for this, like I said, just click on it, open, and if nothing's working, please let me know. It is quite a large file, so it will take a while. It'll say, please wait, it's loading, or your OneNote planner is coming, or something like that. I can't remember what it said when I tested it the first time. It took a little while, and then eventually it opened. So make sure you are signed in to OneNote. If you're using a home computer or something, you might need to re-log in using your work login. I recommend just using your work device so that it's already there if that's how you choose to use it, and that will make the process a lot easier for you. You may decide to switch and try a different platform, try OneNote Online, or if you've used like me 2016 and you want to try Windows 10, give it a go. Might work better for you, you never know. Maybe I'm just a bit old school in that way, that I like the 2016 version better. But hopefully this was helpful for you, and if you like it and you think a colleague would benefit from it that hasn't been able to attend this event today, you can share the link freely. It's free. If you see this anywhere for sale, please tell me, because I'm not trying to make money off our colleagues. This is all meant to be free for all of our colleagues to use. We share because sharing is caring. That's what we do. So thank you again to the Microsoft team for all of your support with the planner and sharing it around with everyone. And big thank you as well for inviting me along to share more information about it today. And I hope it's helped someone, especially if you're moving to digital for the first time. I promise you, persevere, play with it, open up some pages and just test different things and see what you can do, because all of a sudden you might find something I don't even know existed in there as well, and you'll be able to create something wonderful of your own too. Enjoy the rest of EduDay. Thanks again to Microsoft, and I will hopefully see some of you in professional learning, maybe face-to-face this year if we're allowed. Thanks everyone. Bye.